you've mentioned a couple of times that when people do this practice, there can be this kind of very embodied, tremoring and kind of breathing. And another book that I found really powerful of yours is Conscious Breathing, where I didn't realize my whole life that I was breathing in a kind of, I would say my breathing was almost traumatized, like kind of very shallow chest breathing. And it was through you that I learned to breathe naturally, breathe into my stomach. And so thank you for that. But I feel like it might be worth explaining to people, I guess, how to breathe in a natural way.
Well, breathing is one of human beings' superpowers if we learn how to use it. Human beings have come from the factory with two different types of breathing wired into us. One is for relaxation, where you're breathing, mostly your belly is moving with your breath. And then there's fight or flight breathing, which is designed to get you out of squeaky situations. And it's mostly done with a tightened belly and up in the upper chest. It's shorter, faster, shallower. It's designed for only a few minutes at a time. But I have people all the time that come in and they're already in that just from adapting to life. They've been used to their anxiety for so long that they're in fight or flight all the time. And so that's something that has to be fixed, because if you keep doing that, your blood pressure goes up, your heart beats too fast. It's part of a whole syndrome of things. It's basically your body is stewing in fear all the time. And one symptom of that is short, shallow breathing. And so conscious breathing, my book, Conscious Breathing, they tell me that at one time, I don't know if it's still true, that it was the world's best-selling breathing book. So if that's true, I'm very happy to hear that. But one thing that I'm very proud of is that a lot of professionals use that book in places where they're having wars and children are being traumatized, and kids get their breathing on upside down whenever there's big loud noises. And it's just a lot of situations in life are making millions of kids grow up with breathing problems. And so to the extent that my work can help with that, I'm really grateful. So what happens is, if you get scared, the way human beings are programmed, in the old days, back in the cave person days, there would be a saber-toothed tiger come running around the corner. Your body would go into fight or flight, and you'd do one of four things. Either you'd grab some rocks and start pelting the tiger with your other cave person buddies, or you would run like crazy to some place where the cat couldn't get you. Or the other two adaptations to fear, we talk about fight or flight, but the other two are freeze and faint. More like a collapse, not literally fainting all the time, but just kind of shrinking in your body and kind of the give up thing. And so there's four, we call them around here the 4 F's. Those are all ways of dealing with fear. And all of those, in a way, put you into fight or flight breathing. And so the key trick is to begin to notice when you get into that fight or flight breathing and learn to breathe easy again, because here we are millions of years later, and there are some physical threats in life, but compared to the cave person days, there are only a teeny tiny amount of actual physical threats in our daily life. Now, what we have for the past 10, 20,000 years is a buildup of social threats, things like being left behind by the clan, being shamed by other people, being punished for things that we don't have any control over ourselves, being punished unfairly for things. So we've gotten to a place where we have these upper limit problems we apply to ourselves. When we start feeling better or even feeling anxious, we oftentimes cap that off by changing the subject or repressing it or some way trying to get away from the organic, natural feelings of our bodies. So breathing is your first treatment, especially if you're feeling anxious, because here we say fear is excitement without the breath. When you get scared, you hold your breath. That's true of every fight or flight situation. If you hear a scary noise, what do? But we need to learn how to let go of that when the fearsome thought has passed or the fearsome object has moved on. Now we have all these social threats, like I see people. Great example. I had a person in here who got more anxious about being criticized by his boss than he got when he crashed his airplane. He told me, he said, well, crashing an airplane, I knew what to do there. I was either going to make it happen or I wasn't going to make it happen. It wasn't that big a deal, That's the kind of guy you want flying your airplane. He's the kind of guy that thinks, okay, well, this is a problem to be solved. If I can solve it, great. If I can't solve it, okay. But he said, when my boss is chewing me out, and this is a guy, by the way, he was the vice president of a big company and his boss was the founder. He said, my body doesn't know how to deal with that. I know how to deal with an airplane. But there, it's that issue we talked about earlier, James, the issue of control, that oftentimes we try to resolve issues by trying to control ourselves or control other people to not feel what we're feeling. But what we need to do is learn to have these 10-second little conversations where you actually tell the other person, oh man, I felt hurt when you said that, or, I'm feeling scared right now and I'm not sure what to do. Those little 10-second, I call them 10-second miracles because that was the name of one of my books, because I identified that there are these little 10-second moments of life where we have the opportunity to actually make big leaps forward. And so one of the things I say in the new book, The Genius Zone, is that we get dozens and dozens of opportunities every day to jump into our genius zone. And I think that I used to miss about 99.9% of those. Now I hope I get a large number. I'm sure I'm missing some still. I recommend that everybody get willing to make their life an exploration of genius and then celebrate the stuff that comes up.